Happy Thursday, Facebook friends. Welcome back to Facebook. I'm Angie Garza, Director of Professional Learning and Educational Services at ROE 47, serving Lee, Ogle, and Whiteside counties. And if you're joining us back here this Thursday on Facebook, you'll know that it's time for another edition of Teacher Talk. And as many of you remember, March is Music in Our Schools month. And what a better way to end our month of music celebration as we welcomed spring. So on this last Thursday in March, we are closing out our celebration of Music in Our Schools month by visiting another music program here in our fine Lee, Ogle, Whiteside County community. And so to do that, my friend, colleague, and co-host, Miss Stacy Dingus, is joining me back here on Teacher Talk. And Stacy, as we were just chatting before we started our Teacher Talk here this morning, music, and we've said this before, is something that is near and dear to both of our hearts. We both have children who are highly engaged in music. We come from musical families. And so what a great opportunity to highlight such an important opportunity for our students in the schools to engage and grow and demonstrate their talents to friends, neighbors, loved ones, and really grow themselves. So happy to have you here this morning as we end the month of March with music in our schools.
Yeah, Angie, we were lucky enough to feature another area school earlier in the month of March, Amboy Junior High School, and Avery Curley and Morgan Kreiser with their program at Amboy Junior High School. And so fun to kind of head to a different direction in our area and visit with some folks over in the Rock Falls area. Music in our schools, like you said, very important. I had mentioned the last time we were on that we had just started Tech Week for our musical program at our high school, and anyone who's involved in that knows that it's crazy and chaotic. And I so enjoy seeing the posts and hearing about other local schools and what they're doing in their music program. Band and choir kids are talented kids. It takes a lot of guts to stand in front of someone and perform. And I love featuring these talented kids. So I'm excited to get this Teacher Talk rolling this morning.
Stacy, you mentioned band and choir, but we can't forget orchestra. Orchestra is another very important musical opportunity in our schools. And I only mention that because I have a violinist in the family. So yes, indeed, to all of our music students and educators and communities out there. We hope you enjoy this Teacher Talk as we welcome to our Teacher Talk platform, Mr. Patrick Anderson, Director of Music at Rock Falls High School. And we're going to meet here in just a moment one of his fine students sitting next to him, Remy. So stay tuned for Remy's introduction, but we're going to welcome Mr. Anderson to Teacher Talk. And thank you so much for joining us here this morning.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad we could make it work. I'm glad we get to talk about some music today.
Absolutely. Well, we've heard great things about you and your students and your program, so we can't wait to hear more. But Mr. Anderson, as we kick off this morning, you know, we are always interested in hearing personal journeys and stories. So as we get started, really interested to hear what your story is in relation to music. So what called you to music? What called you to Rock Falls High School and the Rock Falls High School Music Department?
Well, musically, I was a private school kid growing up. So my K through 8 education, private school, a lot of musical opportunities in there, from having our choir director come into our classrooms and do music right there in class all through elementary school. And then there was always plays and musical opportunities even through middle school right there in the building. And I was always involved in that stuff. High school, got the opportunity to go to public school out in Hoffman Estates at Conant High School, and the opportunities, I mean, obviously the switch from middle school to high school is always, the opportunities always are massive. And I was involved band and choir and the musicals and stuff at the high school level as well. it just kind of always felt right. It was, had a little bit of natural talent there, and then was able to really refine those skills utilizing private lessons and whatnot. And it came time to decide what I want to do with life. And I was like, well, this sounds pretty fun. We can keep it going. We'll see what happens. And the rest is kind of history. I graduated from Millikan University in 2011 with the degree to teach instrumental music. And obviously, we all know sometimes it doesn't always go quite according to plan. Your dream in college, and I'm going to be a high school band director, and I'm going to do band only, and that's what it is. And it wasn't quite that to begin. My first job was in Ohio, Illinois. I spent 3 years there doing K through 12, all the music in the building, all the elementary band and choir at all levels. Spent 3 years there. And then was able to get a job in Polo, still both band and choir, but was able to do 5 through 12 there. Spent 3 years there, had a great time. And then the opportunity came up where Rock Falls was open, and it was a high school only gig. And it was kind of like, finally, what I had been seeking all along in the high school level. And luckily I was able to get the job, and 6 years later, here we are. So we're enjoying it. We're having fun, and hopefully we get to have fun for a much longer time.
Well, it's great to have you with us this morning, Mr. Anderson, but we can't help notice that you have a student sitting next to you as well. And I say it all the time that my favorite thing on Teacher Talks is when we get to feature our students. And no better person to speak about a program than someone that's actually in it right now. So I would like to introduce Remy Collins to our Teacher Talk. So welcome, Remy. Maybe introduce yourself a little bit. We would like to know how you're involved in the music program. What's maybe your favorite thing? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello, my name is Remington Collins. I'm a junior, so I've been in the music program for a little bit here at Rock Falls High School. My first year was the COVID year, so I didn't get as much opportunity that year, but since then, I've gotten to do a lot of cool things. In band, I play the clarinet, and during marching season, I have the honor to be one of our drum majors, which was a really awesome experience. For choir, I am a soprano, and I've gotten to do some pretty cool things with that as well. In 2022, I was an honors all-state soprano, which was one of the best experiences of my life. I've gotten to sing some national anthems at state basketball games, which is, again, the opportunity of a lifetime. For band, we've gotten to play pep at state. So I've been a pep band all-stater, basically. But yeah, I'm pretty involved here. I also do theater. So when we do our musical every other year, I get to sing for that as well. I've done the BNC conference for band, which was hosted this year here at Rock Falls High School. Last year, with the COVID breakout, we didn't get to quite do that. And then the past 2 years, I have also gotten to do district ILMEA, which was super awesome. So yeah.
Wow, Remy, you are highly engaged, and that is so wonderful to see. You caught me right in my heart, because I also once upon a time was a clarinetist, and I sang soprano in choir in high school. So you got me right in the feels there. I felt like I was right back in the classroom. So thank you for that. But Mr. Anderson, when I listen to all of the things that Remy is involved in, it sounds like your music department is very, very busy. So tell us a little bit more about the music program at Rock Falls High School. How many students are involved? What kinds of things do you do within the department? It sounds like there's a wide variety of opportunities for students to plug into.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, during the school day, we have our core music classes. So offered to the kids, we have music appreciation, which is an elective that sometimes upperclassmen in the school will take to kind of fill that fine arts requirement. A new class that is alternated with music appreciation every other year is music production, which kind of takes a look into the tech side of things. We utilize Apple products and GarageBand, and kids learn how to work with loops and kind of create their own stuff as well. And then we have music theory, which try to gauge it more towards the kids that are already involved in band or choir that want to, bring their understanding up a notch. But those are the 3 electives offered. And then, well, I guess band and choir are also an elective, but the performing ensembles offered would be the choir and then the band. Our school year starts a little bit earlier than everyone else's, especially in the band realm. Our marching band is competitive, so we take the road 4 to 5 times in the fall on Saturdays and go compete against other area schools at a variety of locations. We've been as far south as Western Illinois. We've been out to Geneseo, and we've even been into the suburbs to Lake Park High School last year on Roselle. So we kind of go all over the place. But that whole process starts, well, the planning process for it starts a month and a half ago. But practicing and stuff with the kids, kids have their show music before they leave for summer break. In July, we get together and kind of bring everybody back to get the cobwebs off and get everybody refreshed on different marching things and the show music. And then band camp happens that first week of August, usually. We run that for 8 days, for 8 hours a day, and kind of learn as much as we can before the school year starts. Because once the school year starts, everybody's priorities shift, and it's nice to have them when you're the only thing that, the students are worried about, and we can get so much more done. But outside of that, marching band really is kind of the bell cow in the fall. We have a short window to prep for a Christmas concert right before break there. And then we were talking offline a little bit about our spring schedule and how we're very involved in the IHSA and the sweepstakes competition through that. So it's solo and ensemble in March, it's organizational contest in April, and then again, a very small window to kind of prep for our spring concert, which we've had the luxury of being able to utilize the new stage area on the riverfront in Rock Falls by the Holiday Inn. So we've had an outdoor spring concert now for 3 years. This will be our 4th year outdoors. And fingers crossed, the weather has always seemed to have cooperated. The wind, on the other hand, really fought me last year. So I'm really hoping that, that was the worst of it. We're going to blue skies maybe this year. It'd be great.
Well, you guys are busy over there. Holy smokes. And what great opportunities to give to all the students. I have to say that I was smiling at some of the things that you were mentioning, because I have very fond memories of some of those events. So with that being said, Remy, tell us what you like to do. I mean, obviously there's a whole bunch to pick from all the involvement. It sounds like that's happening over there in the Rock Falls Music Program. What maybe is your favorite event to participate in? What are some of the highlights that you look forward to every year?
Well, I definitely love marching season. I feel like it's the time of year when you're getting to know everyone and you kind of become like a family per se. And you get to travel and go to different places, and it's just a really fun experience. I also love playing pep band, which we do for basketball season and for marching season.
I forgot all about that. Yeah. Pep band for basketball.
But it's just really fun, hyping up the different teams in the band, different teams on the field or on the court, and hyping up the band as you do that, which I really enjoy that on the musical aspect. In the choir realm, I would have to say doing like the choirs, like district choirs or the Big Northern Conference. I feel like it really brings musicians in the area together, and we're allowed to create some really cool music. And I feel like that's really, really cool. And then we get to bring what we've learned back to our choir. And then our choir prospers because of that. But yeah, those are probably some of my favorite things. I also love trying to help other people out with organizational and contest, because you get to work one-on-one maybe with some of your fellow musicians in your band to help them improve, or they get to help you improve. And it's just a really nice way to grow connections with other people in band or in choir. So yeah.
Okay, Remy, I'm going to throw you a curveball. And as Stacy would tell you, that this is like completely on par for me. But I'm sitting here listening to you and how articulate you are and how involved you are with the music program. And I'm just curious, when you look to your future, we heard a little bit about Mr. Anderson's story about how he was called to music and called to music education. What's in store for you, for your future? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be?
Well, a little bit of a loaded question, especially since I got to decide that within the next year. But for the past 5 years, ever since like middle school, I've been dead set on going into musical theater. However, more recently, I've kind of been questioning if that's what I want to do, because I've more recently been falling in love with vocal performance strictly and telling a story through song more than acting. So I'm hoping maybe to go somewhere with a good vocal performance program and see where that takes me.
Well, I'm certain with your talents and your involvement, you will go far. So interested to hear as you continue your educational journey where you end up. So thanks for being so vulnerable with us and allowing me to put you on the spot like that. I'm always curious to know where people are headed. So, this entire teacher talk, we've been talking about the impact of music in our lives and music education. So Mr. Anderson, as we close out our time together here this morning and the fact that it's Music in Our Schools Month, can you talk to us a little bit about why music education is so important, not only to our students, but also our school communities and our communities at large?
Yeah, absolutely. I think back to when I was in high school, even out in the suburbs, there's experiences that you can get through being involved through different programs in your high school that you wouldn't otherwise get. I was fortunate enough, my sophomore year, our band trip was to Hawaii. And that was the one time I've ever been to Hawaii, and it's all because I was in band sophomore year, and I don't see any way of getting back to Hawaii anytime soon. So for the time being, that's going to be the reason why I was there. And just being able to see those things and interact with those people. My director was always so good at making sure that, even though it was busy, it was fun. You had fun. And if you're not having fun, then what's the point? And that's kind of my, philosophy. I think, it's going to be hard. It's going to be time consuming, and it's going to, at times you're going to wonder, why are we doing this for the 50th time to try and fix one little mistake? But, whether it's an award ceremony for marching band or a recognition from the state or a recognition personally, it's all an ensemble, all those, times that you drill or you practice or you run that one extra time, we're always trying to get that 1% better. I use a lot of sports analogies in class that, sometimes go right over the heads of most of my clientele. But I try to explain, you guys are a team. We're a team. We're working together. And there's no bench. You're all starters, and we all have to make sure that we're, ready to go when the game comes or the performance comes, which is our game, so that we can do the best we can. I think it's an amazing place in the school where you get, the great melting pot of students and personalities. And, the amount of times I've been told, I would have never been friends with so-and-so if, we weren't in 7th hour together, or we didn't spend 10 days out in the grueling heat in July trying to learn how to march, 8 steps to 5 yards, or, it's just nice. And it's nice to hear those things. It's nice to see those interactions happen and those light bulbs turn on, and the buy-in, as it starts to happen, it's refreshing and it's nice and it keeps me going, and hopefully it keeps us going in the right direction here for a long time. So
I feel like music is just as important as any sports team or any game. It builds team and it builds communication. If you think about it, music in itself is its own language. So it's a way to communicate not only with your peers and people you would have never done before, but it's a way to communicate a piece or something with the world. And I think that's important for people.
Remy, I love that. As you listen to Mr. Anderson, is there anything else that you would say about how music has impacted your life so far as a student at Rock Falls High School, or even as you look beyond the Rock Falls community and you think about what your future might hold?
Yeah, so it has impacted me in a lot of ways, literally and figuratively. I get to do some cool things this summer because of what I've been able to do here because of Mr. Anderson and what he has provided for our students. I feel like he is a very important part of our program, and he helps inspire us to reach out to the community more in that sense. But I feel like it brings the community together just as it brings us musicians together. I feel like it just forget about everything else that's going on, the hardships of COVID even, just come together and listen to live music or just experience the storytelling of it. And I feel like that's important as a community and just us within the band, because it grows our character and it just grows who we are as people. And that's personally impacted my philosophy and how I think, but then again, it also, I believe, affects the community. So, yeah.
Well, Mr. Anderson, those are pretty high words of praise from your students sitting next to you. That's incredible, and just so wonderful to see how much of an impact that not only you, but music has had on the lives of the students that you serve. So thank you so much for all of your time and investment. We know that being an educator is certainly an investment of time, but when you teach music, there are so many other things, as we've heard so much about here during our time on Teacher Talk, that requires a lot of dedication and commitment and passion for music, as well as working with young people to grow that same excitement and passion in them. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. We're really happy that you invited us out here or on here. And like I said, hopefully good things are in the future, and we can keep moving in the right direction.
Well, we can't wait to see all the great things that continue to come out of the Rock Falls High School Music Department. And as we close out our time here in Teacher Talk, I just kind of wrote down a few things that you mentioned that maybe came up again and again. Music and music education, learning music, performing music, it's sometimes hard, it's time consuming, it's challenging. But in the same breath, it provides a wonderful opportunity to engage in storytelling, to express a language for ourselves and our communities, to come together and to work together as not only a team, but a family. So we thank you so much again for all of your hard work and dedication to music and to the Rock Falls community. And as we close up March, again, Music in Our Schools Month, I'd like to challenge each of our Facebook listeners out there listening today to take a moment to, again, enjoy some music, enjoy a concert. Go down to the riverfront and experience that Rock Falls High School Music Department concert, on a beautiful, scenic, sunshiny day. Thank a music student and a music educator for their gift of music, because that is the gift that just continues to keep on giving. Friends, that wraps us up here today on Teacher Talk. We are so happy to close out the month of March with each and every one of you. We want to say a special thank you to Remington Collins, junior at Rock Falls High School, and Mr. Patrick Anderson, music department musician and director extraordinaire, for all of his hard work and time this morning, sharing with us the great news of Rock Falls High School. And as always, to my friend, colleague, and co-host, Ms. Stacy Dingus, Thanks for having another special Teacher Talk related to music with us here on Facebook. We hope that as we close out this month of March and the Teacher Talk for this morning, that you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, a music-filled Friday, a relaxing, and we're keeping our fingers crossed for a sunshine-filled weekend. And we will see you right back here next Thursday for another edition of Teacher Talk.